Hi guys, and welcome to day 10. We are slowly getting there. I'm Marielle, really excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining my 14-day challenge. I hope you've enjoyed the variety. I hope you found that these shorter videos have helped kind of get you back into the flow of things. For today, we are working our shoulders. So I'm sure we'll work other parts of the body too, but definitely a focus on our shoulders, which I think is really important just to understand kind of shoulder movements, what feels right in your body. I'll break a few things down as well, so hopefully you find it all useful. And yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna start off coming onto your shins, but tucking your toes under. So for this first exercise, we're actually going to be working our ankles and our toes a little bit. It might not feel like much initially, but man, it gets a little bit frustrating after a while. If it's too much, and again, you're feeling really uncomfortable like this, please come to just sit down on the tops of your feet. Otherwise, our toes are tucked, and I'm going to have us interlace our hands. Come onto your knees, so lifting the hips up off the ground. And we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. I want you to really straighten out through the arms. And a few things are going to be happening here. So when you're learning things like handstand, handstand, pretty much all of your inversions, anything with your arms reaching up and over, there's this controversy, I can't pronounce words all of a sudden, of whether your shoulders should be away from your ears or whether you should in fact be pushing the shoulders upwards, because naturally when you're trying to push something overhead, it's a lot harder to do that movement pulling your shoulders away from your ears than actually lifting them up. So for this particular exercise, with your palms reaching up towards the sky, I actually want you to really reach those arms as high up as they'll go and then start to reach the arms back. But as you do this, the real exercise is I want you to hug the ribs and the belly in. Naturally, as we bring our arms overhead, in any of the poses where our arms are overhead, so any of our standing lunges or warrior one, etc., we have a natural tendency to want to flare the ribs. So finding sort of a heart opener, reaching the arms back is quite easy when you shift the ribs forward. So for this specific exercise, I want you to hug the ribs and the belly in, palms up towards the sky. Now notice, the more that you tuck your pelvis, so this is a posterior pelvic tilt, your tailbone is pulling downwards, your pubic bone is sort of pushing forwards, arms reaching high towards the sky, really hollowing through the front body, so the ribs and the belly in, and then start to pull your arms back a little further. So reaching the arms up and drawing the hands back. My arms are already trembling as I do this. For 3, for 2, for 1. Ooh, release it down. So come to sit on your shins. This is where it's actually painful. I realize when you're up here, you don't really feel it on your ankles and your toes, but we're going to sit here for a moment and just take those shoulders up and back a few times and then change directions, going the other way. Don't think we finished. We're going to do that one more time. So lifting yourself up, paying attention to all of that again. So really hugging everything in, squeezing those glutes, pushing the hips forward, tailbone pulling down, pubic bone sort of pushing forwards, interlacing the fingers, arms up to the sky, lifting them as high as you can, really engaging your core as you do this, wrapping the TVA, and then drawing those shoulders back. So lifting high. I have to apologize. I know I mentioned this in every video, but we've got construction work next door. So you're going to hear some nice drilling and banging noise while we go through this, but maybe it'll distract you from what you are feeling right now. We're holding here for another 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Okay. Once again, take those shoulders up, back, and down. Little circles going in one direction, and then we change, going in the other direction. I always think I'm gonna beat them, like, oh, they stopped. I'm gonna shoot a quick video. And lo and behold, they're back. All right, guys, come into a tabletop position now. You can release your toes for a second, and if you need to pad them out, just give your feet a little pat. Sometimes they can feel like they need that. All right, so in our tabletop position, what I want to talk to you next, and I usually teach this in my handstand courses, is what happens when, with certain movements. Like, what are they called? Because usually I'll hear words and they kind of go through one ear out the other. I don't really understand what they're saying. So we're going to talk about shoulder protraction, retraction, elevation, and depression. So with shoulder protraction, I mentioned it a lot and it's super common in our yoga practice. We are pushing the ground away, separating through the shoulder blades, really rounding out through the upper back. Retraction is the opposite. You start to draw the shoulder blades towards one another, melting your chest down towards the ground. Now, as we do this, I want you to spend less time thinking about cat-cows, so less time thinking about your pelvic movement, and really just focus on what's happening with the shoulders. So we're going to exhale to protract the shoulders. We're pushing the ground away. We're wrapping our triceps as we do this, eye of the elbows pointing backwards. And then we're going to retract the shoulder blades. So shoulder blades come towards one another and you start to lower your chest down towards the ground. Protract as you exhale and then retract as you inhale. Let's do that one more time. Protraction, round out, retraction, lower down. Now here's where it gets really fun, and this is going to be a little bit like my spinal mobility because you're definitely going to have those moments of like, wait, what am I doing? So we are going to play with protraction, elevation, retraction, depression. And the reason we're going to do that is that we're going to start to create little circles with our back. So moving slowly, I want you to push the ground away, protract through the shoulder blades. Elevation just means that you're bringing your shoulders up towards your ears, and then retract the shoulder blades, so drawing them in towards one another. And then depress them. I'm going to get so confused here. Depression, so elevation, depression, I think it's called depression. So draw the shoulders away from your ears, drawing the shoulders down the back. So we're going to do that again. Protract, round out through the back, draw the shoulders towards the ears, retract, so shoulder blades towards one another, and then pull the shoulder blades back. And I want you to start doing this a little bit faster. So we round out, come forward, retract, lower back. And start to notice that you start to draw sort of little circles with your back. I realize that this is pretty intense on the shoulders and we do have to rewind it. So do one or two more, come back to a normal position. I have no idea how weird I look, but it felt pretty weird. So if you're feeling that way, don't worry, you're not alone. We're going to do the opposite. So we're going to retract, come forward, protract, and draw back. Retract, forward, protract, and back. And then start to go a little bit faster with these movements. Again, just focusing on the shoulder area. I really don't care what's happening with your pelvis right now. Do two more. And then come back to neutral. Release your toes. Take a little child's pose, but this time knees together, circling your arms back behind you. So allow the shoulders, so the upper part of your arms to just relax. Shoulder blades start to separate here. And just come back to the breath. Slow the breath down. Notice how those shoulders are feeling. We haven't even fully started yet, but definitely bringing the awareness to that part of our body. And then take a moment to interlace your hands behind your back. Notice if you're always interlacing your hands in the same way, and maybe challenge yourself to change the grip. And start to lift the hips up, coming onto the crown of your head, and reach your arms up and over. So finding our rabbit pose here. Seeing if we can draw our palms a little closer together. Allow the weight of the arms to stretch the shoulders out. Taking one more breath where we are. And then slowly lowering yourself back down. Releasing the hands. coming forward, so walking the hands forward, tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Take a moment in your down dog, as I feel like we all probably need a little stretch through the legs. You can pedal out the feet, bend one knee, bend the other. Any movement that feels good to you today. And then we gently come high up onto the balls of the feet, take our gaze between our hand and tiptoe our feet all the way forward. Gentle bend of both knees, chin to chest. We roll ourselves up, vertebra by slow vertebra. Head and neck are the last things that come up as they do. Shoulders up, back, and down. All right, guys, we're standing. So this next thing is another exercise. I talk a lot about handstands. It's one of my favorite things to practice. Obviously, very much shoulder focused. So this is something else that I used to do in my handstand practice with Alex Nino. It's kind of, I think he used to call them shoulder dislocations. Sounds a lot worse than I don't want you to think that we're actually trying to dislocate our shoulder, but we are trying to work on that shoulder mobility. So focusing on the right arm first, I just want you to draw nice big circles with that arm. And as you do so, just sort of noticing the movements that take place as you reach the arm high up, draw it back, shoulder comes down, reaching it forward. Trying to keep that arm as close to your ear as possible. So trying not to bring it sort of big circles here. I'm going to do nice big, small circles here, big circles here. And just keep going. And then we're just going to change direction, going the other way. Again, reaching that arm. I'm going to knock something over. I know this is going to happen. Back behind you. Again, trying to keep that arm in line as you move. We'll do one more. And then let's do the other side. So left arm side, left hand side. Left arm reaches forward, up, back, and down, forward, up, back, down. Keep going. And these are mindful movements. We're going to go a little bit faster in a moment. And then just change direction. Really tuning into what you are feeling as you go through these movements. All right, here's where it gets fun. I want us to go a little bit faster. And my husband tried to do this with my brother when I was back in Mexico. And again, it's one of these exercises when we were doing the spinal mobility. It's hard. Play with it. See if you can do it. I want you to start circling your right arm really fast, going forward. I knew I was going to knock that over. I'm going to take this down for a moment, this lovely, beautiful Ganesh that I do not want to destroy. Okay, now we can do it. Hopefully I'm not going to whack my arm. Bring that right arm forward, creating those nice big circles. And then I want you to take your left arm backwards. So going in opposite direction, it really takes a moment. I know you're going to be like, wait, what? Both of your arms are going to go forward, then both of your arms are going to go back. Whatever you need to do, play with it. But allow yourself to create those big circles with your arms. And then to really mess you up, change it around. So your right arm goes back, your left arm goes forward, moving faster. Using momentum. Sometimes it helps to bend your knees because then you really know which arm is going what way. So that can feel really useful. I find that if I bend my knees though, I'm a little less aware of my shoulders, although I'm really starting to feel them now. And stop. All right, guys, take your arms just from side to side, giving a little bit of a sort of counter relaxation type thing. And then bring your arms overhead, right hand to left wrist. Let's take our left foot behind our right. Start to bend into that right knee and just give yourself a really nice side stretch through the left hand side of your body. One more breath here. And then slowly back to center. We change sides. Left hand to right wrist, right foot behind you. Reach that right arm up and across. Really pull up and then over. Beautiful. Come back to center, release the arms, give your shoulders a little shake. Oh my God, we're halfway through and my shoulders are already like, all right, top of your mat. Either feet hip distance or heel toe the feet together. Hands to prayer at heart center. I say let's get started. We've already started, but let's move through a flow. Inhale, sweep the arms high to the sky. Exhale, we forward fold. Hinge from those hips. Inhale to your long spine as the gaze goes up. Exhale, plant the hands, step, jump, your choice. Optional vinyasa. Or we move straight into a downward facing dog. All right, guys, right leg to the sky as you inhale. Exhale, right foot steps between your hands. Release your left knee down onto the ground. You can release your toes for a second. Arms float up. Find Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. We're going to cactus the arms in our low lunge. And then I just want you to draw circles with your elbows. Going in one direction first. Construction noise, and then going the other direction. Change it up. Beautiful, guys. Really be mindful to hug the ribs and the belly in. One more breath here. Sweep the arms high to the sky. And then bring your right fingertips to your right hand side. If you have a block or a book for added support, please feel free to use it. Otherwise, we're pressing into the right fingers as we reach that left arm across our body. You can even bring that left hand behind your head and try to draw the elbow across the body. Beautifully done, guys. Taking one more breath here. Slowly bring yourself back through center. Tuck your back toes under and lift that left knee up off the ground. Now, just to face you so you can see exactly what I'm doing, I want you to grab that left wrist again, point your toes to the right hand side, and give yourself a side stretch. So we pull that left hand over towards the right hand side. Our feet are pointing in that direction, so our left hip is pulling away from the body. Take one more breath here, and then open up into a warrior two. All right, lovely warrior two. Again, doing two positions to kind of counteract what we're going to be doing with our shoulders. I want you to bring your right arm underneath your left. Find your eagle arms. So really try to engage through the lower half, though that's not our focus today. Rounding out through that upper back, see if you can clasp your hands if possible. Now, I want you to pull the elbows away from the body. That motion of pulling the elbows away from the body really opens up through the shoulder blades, and then reach the fingers up towards the sky. So really pulling into your delts, your triceps. See where you feel it. Take an inhale here. Open up through the heart as you exhale, humble warrior. So try to bring that right shoulder on the inside of that right knee. Now, as you come into humble warrior, keep pulling elbows away from the body and then fingers reaching forward. So you get a nice deep stretch and opening into the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Take one more breath where you are. Slowly press into the feet. Unravel the arms. All right, let's take our hands behind our back. Interlace the fingers. Open up through the chest. And then take humble warrior once again. Reaching the arms up and over, giving yourself a bit of a different shoulder stretch here. So not focusing as much on getting the crown of the head down, but really focusing on opening up through the shoulders. We take one more breath where we are. Press yourself up. If you need a little stretch in that right leg, you can straighten that right leg out. Either keep that right leg straightened for a moment. I want you to bring your hands, again, behind your back. See if you can bring your hands into a reverse prayer. Otherwise, try to grab onto opposite elbows. Now, in our warrior two, this is a little bit challenging, but see if you can play with it. Try to draw that right elbow to the inside of your right thigh. Like, am I doing that right? I think that is, yeah. And press into the right elbow to open up through the left shoulder. I know this is pretty advanced, but see how it feels. Just take one more breath here. Press yourself up, reverse your warrior, and then exhale. Cartwheel the hands to the floor. Step the right foot back. purely optional vinyasa, downward facing dog. Left leg floats high to the sky. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Release the right knee, release the back toes, arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Take an inhale here as you exhale, cactus the arms, open up through the shoulders. And then let's do backwards little circles with our shoulders, so drawing little circles with those elbows. You're doing great, guys. And then changing it up, we'll go forwards. Taking one more breath where you are. Reach the arms up to the sky. My shoulders are like, what is happening? Bring the left fingertips to the left-hand side. Once again, if you need support, a block, a book, right arm reaches across the body. Option to bring right hand behind your head and then reach with the elbow, which gives you just a little bit of an extra stretch, in my opinion. Beautiful. Taking one more breath where you are. Slowly coming back to center. Tuck the back toes under. Lift yourself up. Whew, into your high lunge. From our high lunge, again, this time taking our feet to the left-hand side, grabbing onto our right wrist with our left hand. Can't begin to tell you how hard right and lefts are when you're teaching. Push your right hip away, draw that right arm towards the left-hand side, and give yourself a really nice side stretch. These are some of my favorite stretches. I know I say favorite a lot. I used to do that with music. It's my favorite song. Take one more breath here. Open up, warrior two. I'm gonna face you guys. All right, find that lower half. Once again, not really our focus, but should always be looking for the right engagement throughout the body. Arms out towards the side. Left arm underneath right. We're really rounding out through the shoulder blades, pushing the elbows away, reaching the fingers up. Take a little back bend, so take an inhale, heart to the sky, and then exhale, left shoulder on the inside of that left knee. Try to tuck your left hip in, pull elbows and fingers away from the body, rounding out. Get a really nice stretch here. It should feel, it's tough. It's not like purely enjoyable, but it should feel good where the body is stretching. Let me take one more breath where we are. And slowly press yourself back up. Unravel the arms. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, maybe find that different grip. Squeeze palms together as you open the heart. And then exhale, humble warrior. Arms up and over. Getting a different stretch here. Really try to keep the squeeze of the palms. So again, less important, crown of the head or hands to the floor, but really open up through the chest. One more breath. Press into the feet, lift yourself up. I know that left leg's like, ooh, if you need to straighten it, give your hips a little shake. Release the arms. Make sure you don't get a little dizzy on the way up. Take your hands behind your back. So we're trying to find either that reverse prayer, if possible, or maybe grabbing onto your forearms. And then draw that left elbow to the inside of your left thigh or knee, wherever it reaches, and then push into the left elbow to open up through the right shoulder. Remember to tuck that left hip in. Beautiful, guys. Taking one more breath wherever you are, trying to ignore or zone out the construction noise. Hopefully you don't hear it that much with my mic. And then we inhale, lift ourselves up, release the arms, reverse your warrior inhale, exhale, hands to the floor, left foot steps back, purely optional vinyasa. We make our way back into our downward facing dog. Lower the knees to the ground. Release your toes, toes together, hips to heels. Take child's pose. It's always that wonder of whether they're gonna go stronger or not. All right, forehead to the ground. Really pull the hips
towards the heels, drawing the hips back and down, and then reaching the fingers as far forward as they'll go. Getting a really nice stretch through the sides of your body, coming onto the fingertips, so don't let your forearms or elbows rest on the ground. Make this an active child's pose. And then start to walk your fingertips to the right-hand side, bringing your right hand on the ground, your left hand on top of the right. Is that right? No, I lied. Bringing your left hand down and right hand on top of the left. Does that? Yeah, that totally makes sense. Press that left hand down, pull your left hip back, and really get a stretch through the side of the body. Let me take one more breath here. And then slowly come back to center, move over to the other side, right hand down, left hand on top of the right, pull your right hip back and down, and get a really nice deep stretch. If you pull your shoulder backwards, you might find that the stretch deepens a little bit further here. And then slowly making your way back through center. Now this one's one of my favorite stretches. It actually can feel even better with 2 blocks. So you bring your elbows onto the blocks. If you don't have blocks, it doesn't really matter. All I want you to do is bring your hands into a prayer, your forehead to the ground. Yeah, let's take puppy pose. I think this will be a little bit deeper. So bringing the hips over the knees. Walk your arms, your forearms out a little bit so that you're bringing your elbows onto the ground. Melt your chest or your forehead to the ground, and then bring the palms of the hands behind your head. So if you have to move the elbows a little bit further forward, as you start to bring the hands back, the hips can pull back. So you're getting a really deep stretch into the backs of your arms, into the shoulders. Obviously, if you have the blocks underneath your elbows, this is much more intense, but it can feel like a really fabulous stretch. Taking one more breath where you are, releasing the hands, lifting yourself up, and then just lying yourself onto the ground. Now, I know that I did this stretch in our plank exercises. I'm going to do it again because it's good, but I'm going to allow you to take it a little bit further if you want to. So either bringing your right arm long or cactusing through your right arm. If you want to go deeper, and some of you are going to be like, what on earth does she want me to do? Just watch. Don't feel like you have to do it. If you would like to try it, please be mindful. But we're going to bring that right arm long instead of cactusing it. You're going to bring your left hand next to your chest. You're going to bring your right foot back behind you. And then you have the option to bend, your left foot back behind you. You have the option to bend your right knee as well and bring that left hand to towards the right. And this is where you stretch really, really deeply into that right arm. I don't know how much my camera is cutting off as I'm off my mat. We're so limited to space, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. We're going to take one more breath here and then slowly roll ourselves back onto our belly. Wow, that is so deep on the right side. Bring your left arm out to the side. I have to roll over a little bit. Bring your right hand next to your chest. Right foot reaches behind you. Again, maybe this is as far as you go and you can feel the stretch here. Maybe you bend into that left knee as well. Take the right arm back and really give yourself a stretch through that left shoulder. I probably look double jointed right now. I promise you this isn't as hard as it may seem, but it does take a lot of practice. I do have quite a bit of flexibility. So if you aren't able to do this, don't worry. Just take it as far as works for you. We take one more breath where we are. Slowly release yourself. Come back onto your belly. Roll onto your back. Knees in towards your chest, giving yourself one final and well-deserving squeeze. Option to take savasana. Very well deserved. Otherwise, if you're continuing
with your day or with another practice. I hope you enjoyed that. Man, my shoulders. It feels nice. I mean, I think we work our shoulders a lot in our yoga practice with the amount of planks and down dogs, but giving it some specific focus and love and attention. Again, there's just so much you can do, and 30 minutes isn't very long. But I appreciate you guys joining me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 11. Yeah, see you soon. Bye.